What is going on, guys? MJ2005 gonna here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another episode of Gunpla news. Now, despite what you're seeing on screen, a lot of this video has to do with regular releases, so of course I'm not going to be bringing this at the end of the month. I'm going to be bringing you guys this now, just so I don't have so much news piled up at the end of the month for you guys need to watch a 45-minute video of me talking about them. Let's get right into it. First of all, here we have the P Bandai High-Grade Crossbow Gundam X0 Full Cloth, which is going to be a May 2021 release for 2,750 yen. Now, of course, I did pre-order this because I'm such a fan of the X0, because I really do love the color scheme and the twin shotguns that it uses. But this kit does also come with a more refined version of the Muramasa Blaster, which I think was also a standard armament for the X0. I really forgot. I read the wiki page a few days ago. And of course, this is the full cloth version, which is basically just copy-pasting the X1 full cloth equipment right onto the X0. Yes, this was deployed alongside the Ghost, so hopefully we get a Ghost Gundam soon. But anyways, of course you do get the full cloth equipment, the eye field generators, and of course the full equipment, including the scissor anchors that are on the front skirts. The major star of the show are going to be the shotguns for me, because I really do love these. These, I don't care if they're beam rifles, I don't care if they're any sort of different weapon type, they just look like shotguns to me, and that's awesome. Of course, you can flip the barrel back to allow it to generate a beam, so this thing can be doubled up as a standard melee weapon as well. And of course, I will need to see whether or not the silver fits my taste. I did pre-order this, so look forward to that. It's going to be coming in June for me, because you know P Bandai released this. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But the thing that I did miss is this thing right here. This is the actual Libertas Dextradictus, which is going to be a May 2021 release for 3,960 yen. Now, this thing was out of stock immediately after the pre-orders were open, so unfortunately I will have to stress myself out and get them at the store whenever June rolls around. But of course, this thing is just a mirror variant of the Jurista Sinister Dictus that I reviewed. Of course, I'm going to be picking this up just to complete the collection because I feel like I'm obligated to, but I don't think I'm going to be doing an in-depth review for this kit because it's literally just the same kit, just mirrored. So if you want me to do kind of like a short video addressing the basic features of the kit, please tell me in the comments below. Yeah. Next up, we are going back to regular releases. Okay, 30-minute missions first. We are gonna have the Spinatio Ninja type. This is just the poster and already looks amazing. I already love the Sengoku type of the Spinatio, and of course the Sengoku weapons that are going to be coming alongside it. But this is going to be a May 2021 release for 1,408 yen. Of course, it's going to have the dual blades, which kind of remind me of the H1 Razor, which is pretty nice. The sleek and slender look, and of course the accenting white armor against the black body. This just looks phenomenal. Stripping off the armor is basically just going to look like a Core Gundam mimic. But it just looks pretty stale without the white armor accenting it. And of course, here we have the full layouts. We do have the twin blades. You do get a rifle that I actually missed out on the Sengoku type that also comes with the Sengoku type. So if you do not like the blades, or if you want to deploy the Spinatio as a standard unit, you can actually equip the rifle for it, which is pretty nice. And of course, I think this is from the weapon set. I don't know. It doesn't show it here. But you can actually have a ninja star that's gonna be with the Spinatio, but I'm not really too sure. Let me take a look at the next one, which is basically going to be the customized Sengoku weapons for the Spinatio, which is going to be a May release for 550 yen. Of course, you do get a standard katana, which is pretty nice. You do get a spear, which looks like the Favonius Lance from Genshin Impact. But of course, you do get to configure all the stuff into a bow if you do get 2 of the set. I am so freaking glad that we finally get an actual freaking bow for 1-to-144 kits. Now, there was an ancient one from a weapon set that I already forgot about that people told me about, but it's extinct. Long extinct. This revitalizes the supply for 1-to-144 scale bows, and I'm absolutely loving it. And of course, we do get some extra hands. We do get a ninja type hand, and of course, we do get some water nets. So, like the equipment for which ninjas walk on water. Yeah, that's basically what that is. And of course, here we do get a full display of what is going to be included in one set of the kit. So you do get the twin blades, you do get the dual katanas, you do get basically the Rising Gun's weapon that you can configure into the Favonius Lance. And you do get a gun with different barrels, and of course a guard and an arrow So yeah, you will need multiple kits to create the actual bow, but if you're satisfied with the rest of the weapons, there you have it. And then next up, this is really peculiar. This is kind of like the Meteor Hopper 2.0. This is the extended armament vehicle cannon bike version. It's going to be a June release for 858 yen. This, I am absolutely hooked. Like, this is no diver bike. This is no Meteor Hopper because you can reconfigure it into kind of like something like from Star Wars. So you have kind of like a drone over here with a gigantic cannon on the top. And of course you can reconfigure the front portion into the body of whatever 3D mission kit that you like. It shows it off with the spinatio, which honestly looks a little bit off. But you can absolutely reconfigure the bike into body parts. But of course, if you want to detach a separate cannon from the back, you can absolutely use it as a standard cannon. Or if you want kind of like a high mega sniping turret, then you can have that as well. But of course, the major feature of this thing is that if you buy 2 of these kits, which basically like reminds me of the Hoodoos a lot, you can have like a really standard looking bike that has 2 wheels, rotating I might add, because it does look like it's gonna roll very, very well. And you can have a standard size kit ride it without looking absolutely stupid. Like the machine rider from Build Divers is basically only good for a Segway. But this thing right here, whew, it looks pretty good with the spinatio on it. I'm absolutely hooked. I'm definitely going to be buying 2 of these things when the time comes, so as to show you guys all the possible official configurations. Next up, finally we're back to Gundam. So, Wing Gundam, real grade, June 2021 release for 3,520 yen. Of course, this is basically just a standard Wing Gundam converted into real grade. I don't know why they did this. The high grade is good enough in my opinion, but I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing this and stripping the original Wing Gundam off for parts. Who knows? Of course, it's just going to have the extra separating wings, which is pretty nice, and of course it can transform into the bird mode. And a back view, which looks very awesome. I really like the gray accents that are put on the wings and the detail that's put into the backpack and the rear skirt. Of course, it does look pretty nice with all the wings open up, which is pretty nice. But this thing right here, this is the eagle mode. So if you can't tell, these are basically the talons, and then the legs are basically the eagle feet. Like, what the hell is the point of this mode? Like, why? Not aerodynamic, it's not going to capture any enemies, and this gimmick looks like it's only going to come on an SD, and they dicked around with it and made it with the real grade. Like, what's the freaking point? And of course you do get a detailed look at the inner frame. It just looks like it's going to be using a custom frame. It's not going to be reusing the previous Wing Gundam frames, which thank the Lord that they're doing that, because the old Wing Gundam frames are not really the best thing in the world. And of course we do have the advanced MS joints that are adapted for the mechanical foundations in the wings to create the intricate joint structures, as the photo says here. So I'm not really too sure what this entails, but it sounds pretty good. And of course, you do have the separating cartridges for the Buster Rifle as per the Wing Gundam EW version. And of course, you do get the folding shield with the beam saber that you can pull out. So it's going to be a pretty decent looking release, but the stupid eagle mode has to go. Next up, here we have some more details. Like, this is what people are excited about from my previous video. Release info of the Death Scythe. High grade. It's going to be a May 2021 release for 1,650 yen. So, the Death Scythe is finally being added to the collection. Of course, this is the standard Death Scythe that doesn't have any flare to its design because it doesn't have the wings, but the beam scythe does look pretty good, the shield does look pretty good, and of course it does have the cool black color scheme that gives it that bit of an edge. Of course, gimmicks, you do have the duct block, so you can actually shift the thrusters up into the shoulders to allow for more articulation in the arms, as it seems. I'm going to try that out later on. The polycaps can be slid outwards, obviously, to create natural weapon holding poses, so it's basically kind of like a remedy around the cheating chest block from the old Death Scythe Hell, which hopefully they would actually make a high grade of the Death Scythe Hell. But that's going to be in the far future until they've completed the Shenlong. We do have some extra sliding joints, so it does look like the knee is going to be a triple jointed knee to allow for maximum articulation, which is pretty nice. And of course you have a rear view and some more photos addressing the Buster Shield, which is going to have the actual beam that is going to be coming out of the Buster Shield, so you can actually toss it. or launch it, as the Death Scythe actually did. And of course you have the Beam Scythe, so you have a short variant of the blade and a long variant of the blade. I don't know if the emitter is going to be able to fold in if you actually store the weapon, but who knows. They do not necessarily have to recreate that feature, but if they actually did, then it's going to be pretty nice. So I am definitely going to be picking this up because I feel like I'm obligated to complete the collection, because I do have the Wing, the Sandrock, and the Heavy Arms. Plus, it will allow me to test for the theory that the Heavy Arm still has the heaviest arms thus far before the Shenlong comes out, because that thing is just going to top it. Next up, here we have the Full Mechanics. This is basically the name for the new line of 1 to 100 scales that are not master grades that Bandai are giving. They're basically just going to be calling this the 1 to 100 Full Mechanics line, and of course we're starting off with the Calamity Gundam, as we've seen before. So the Calamity Gundam is not really the best looking design from Gundam Seed in my opinion, but the Calamity Gundam over here is not really too bad of a design. Plus, I think they're setting this up for the eventual P Bandai Full Mechanics Sword Calamity Gundam. So let's take it for what it is, shall we? But yeah, the Calamity Gundam does look pretty good, and it looks like it's going to be very detailed, like very detailed, but not R78FOO types of detailed. And of course you do have some inner mechanics that are shown off here, and the legs are going to be looking pretty simple in their construction, but they're going to provide maximum articulation, as I can imagine. And of course you do have a sliding mechanic for the crotch pieces, and don't know what the mechanics up here entail, but I think it's going to be doing the curving poses, which is going to be pretty good for shooting. And of course it advertised the bazooka having a foldable handle and the shield having foldable turrets. So yeah, this is going to be a June 2021 release for 5,500 yen. And yeah, for Full Mechanics, this doesn't look too bad. But since IBO has basically tarnished the Full Mechanics name, but hopefully this kit doesn't continue the trend of all show and no go. Next up, we have more photos of the Full Mechanics Calamity Gundam. This just looks like an actual build instead of CG images, and it does look like it's going to be pretty good right out of the box. Obviously, this is a 1 to 100 that I'm not interested in, so I'm not going to be reviewing this, but it does look pretty nice with the gates and of course the detail that are going to be implemented into there. So hopefully you guys who are a fan of the Calamity Gundam are happy with the 1 to 100 release. Next up, of course, here we have some more Gundam base limited stuff. This is basically going to be a rehash of the Real Great Strike Rouge with the Ale pack. I remember there's the IWSP pack, but of course they're going to be throwing the L pack there, because why not? But you get like the Grand Slam. Like, I don't think this has ever been implemented into any of the Real Great Strike variants. So yeah, if you want a Grand Slam for the Strike that you have, this is the only way to get it. Of course, this is a Gundam base limited, so there is a possibility that this is going to get imported very soon after its release, because this is releasing this Friday. So yeah, this will be imported in the next few months, I imagine. And then next up, some event limited stuff. We do get the Real Great Crossbone Gundam X1 with the clear version. Now, they're giving the X0 a high grade treatment, which I don't mind. I love the X0, but they're not pushing out any more real grade variants. I don't care if they're exclusive of the Crossbone. Like, I'm waiting for a Crossbone real grade X2 Kai, for God's sakes, and they're just rehashing the old mold to do something that is absolutely pointless to me. Like, the clear variants, a lot of people are a fan of those, I imagine, but it's pointless to me. So if you want a clear variant of the Crossbone X1, which makes the ABC mantle look completely out of place, then here you have it. Finally, we do have the event limited real grade Force Impulse Gundam Titanium finish. Now, of course, from the feedback that I had from the previous video, the Titanium finish does have quite a market. So if you want one of these, shame, because this is like an event release. Frankly, the Force Impulse in Titanium finish does look pretty good. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Gunpla News. Now, I'm of course going to be covering these again in the end of the month video, but I'm going to be skimming over these because obviously. But which one of these kits are you guys interested in? Basically all of them, apart from the 1 to 100s and the special color versions for me. So hopefully you guys are excited to see me review these whenever this dry period freaking ends. So that's gonna wrap it up for Gunpla News today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Please tell me in the comments below which one of these kits are you excited for, and I'm gonna see you all in the next video. Peace.